ways, ulevar hadvarim, and to explain these ideas, yesh lahaktim hadrush. We can preface what's brought in the Mamar, Hamavor B'Siddur, that's explained in the Siddurim Dach, al Pasuk Avadim Hayinu Lefaro B'Mitzrayim, and the verse that we were slaves to Paro in Egypt, V'yotzienu Havai Elokinu Misham B'yad Chazaka V'Zron and Tuyachulu. And Havai Elokinu took us out of there with a strong hand and an outstretched arm. Hinemuvor B'Prietz Chaim U'B'Mishnas Chasidim Shoresh in Yitzias Mitzrayim. Now it's explained in Prietz Chaim and Mishnas Chasidim the root of the concept of going out of Egypt. That Zer Anpin was in a pregnant state in Partzuf Ima. Shnikra Meitzar Yam, that's called the boundary of the sea. Mitzrayim is the boundary Meitzar Yam of Bina, that's called the sea. Kiyam hu b'chinas nekudas yud chachma, because the sea is the concept of the point of the yud of chachma, shu behelam bebina, which is hidden within bina, shenikra mem stima, which is the closed mem, or the hidden mem. Ki paro shiyonik min b'chinas oref, so that yam is composed of the concept of the yud, and the mem, the yud is the nekuda of chachma within, hidden within the mem, because paro gets a nurturance from the nape of the neck, oref tarichanpin, monea melihios b'chinas leidechulu, so he stops there being the concept of a giving birth. V'zeu mashikosav avadim hayinu, and this is what it says, that we were slaves to Paro, that we were slaves. So what does it mean that we were slaves? Anu b'nei Yisrael d'la'ela, that is to say, us the sons of Israel of above, shu b'chinas zah, that Yisrael above is Zer Anpin, and Zah was in a pregnated state, avadim hayinu l'faro, so we were slaves to this concept of Paro b'chinas oref ta'arich Anpin, the nape of the neck of Arich, lihios b'mitzrayim chulu, to be in Egypt in this boundary of the pregnant in Bina and stuck there. V'yotzienu Havai Elokeinu, and Havai Elokeinu took us out. Hainu b'chinas Abba v'Ima. So what are the shemos of Havai Elokeinu? That's the partzuf of Abba and Ima. B'yad chazaka u'b'zro netuya, with strong hand and outstretched arm. Hainu al yidei shel bishu l'ozros tarich anpin. That is the arms. What are these arms? That is the arms of Arich, that Abba and Ima enclosed these arms of Arich. V'zros tarich anpin chulu. And Sham, and look over there in Prietz Chaim and Mishnas Chasidim, that this is the Kabbalistic concept of the exile in Egypt is Abba and Ima, Zah within parts of Ima and Abba and Ima, taking us out by being malbish the Zros of Arich. Now to understand all this, b'masha kasu b'perush Havai Elokeinu Abba v'Ima, in this that he says that the names Havai and Elokeinu correspond with Abba and Ima. Yesh lahaktim tchila lahavin bir inyan shem Havaya dalad osios yudkei chulu. We can first preface the concept of the name of Havaya, which is 4 letters, yudkei and so forth. Vekotzo shel yud shu b'chinas hakeser ki yadua, and the point of the yud, which is the keser as is known. The yud hu b'chinas chachma, that yud corresponds with wisdom of chachma. Vakot shal gabi yud shu b'chinas hakeser, and the point that's on the yud, that's the concept of keser. Hainu b'chinas ratzon ha'elyon, that is the supernal will. Shelamayla min ha'seichel v'atam, which is beyond intellect and reason. Kamosh kozu v'chachma ma'ayin timatzeh, like it's written that wisdom comes from naught, comes from the ayin. V'hu gam kain. And that's also this ayin, the keser, the ratzon of the point of the yud, is also arichanpin, as is known. That and that Mamar about Bilam explains there that in the soul you also have the name Havaya. corresponding with the Ratzon and Chachma and so forth. Now in this concept of arich, you have the inner and the external, that's called the face and the back of the neck, as is known. And the concept is, there is in the will two levels, the internal and the external, and the inner concept of will is called the chayfetz. And the external part of will is simply called the ratzon. Because the concept of the word chayfetz is the inner longing from your inner will, like Shem, who is described as desiring the daughter of Yaakov, of Dinah, with an inner will. So too, Hashem describes us that you will be for me a land that I desire, a desirous land, like it says in Malachis Yud Gimel Yud Beis. Parsha Pei, v'zeh shekosov gamkin ki lecha yikra chefziva v'artzich be'ula, and so forth. Ki chafetz havayabach v'artzich diba'el. So it says that I will call you, that my desire is in you. B'Yeshaya simin samech beis daled v'zeu v'kol chefzi eseh, and that's further what it says in Yeshaya, B'Yeshaya simin mem vav yud, that all my desire I will do, I will fulfill my inner will. The Kai Ali'il, that it's referring to what it says before, Val Zenemar, and about this it says, Im ta'iru, Im ta'oruru, es ha'avad shetechbatz. If you awaken or arouse the love until you have the chayfetz in it, because of Eis L'chol Chayfetz, like it says that there's a time for all Chayfetz, for all this inner desire, B'Koheles Simin Gimel Aleph. Fine, Barabos B'Koheles B'Sofo, Al Pasok, B'Keish Koheles Limtso Divrei Chayfetz. I'm looking at Drasha B'Koheles, that talks about the verse that Koheles asked to find matters of inner desire. Things that are truly worthwhile to desire. And so look in the Mamar, talks about the concept of my beloved, that's connected to this idea, and also in the Mamar V'samti Kad Kod about, and all your borders will be made of Avnei Chayfetz, stones of desire, of inner desire and will. So that's a whole number of places where it uses this expression Chayfetz. Mash ein kin b'chinas chitzoni yosaratzon, which is not the case with the external will. She'enu nimshach ma'atzmus mipnimius hanefesh. Klal, that's not drawn from the inner part of the essence of the soul at all. Rak b'chinas achorayim v'chitzonius bilvad. Only the back and the external alone. Al derech mashul be'ezer ratzon be'esig masu matan. For example, when you have a will to do some kind of business dealing, shehar revach zo b'chinas pnimis chefzo, that the money you're going to make from that's the inner will, va'ishtadlus litroach bo, and the efforts that you put in to accomplish it. Ein ze chefzo hapnimis, that's not the inner will to do all those things. Rak b'chinas chitzonis, only that's external, kadesh yochal levo lapnimis, in order so that you could reach the inner pnimis haratzon shuhu harevach al derech mashal, which is the profits, for example. and that's the face and the back of the will, the inner and the external of the will. And this is the general rule, that when it comes to the inner part of the will, that's where it's drawn, and it has flow of the light of the inner life force in an inner way. It's because you desire that thing in an inner way, but something you don't desire in that way is only externally. The flow to that thing and the vitality only gets there, so to speak, secondary. The command is like somebody who throws it over their shoulder. And like it's explained in a number of places, that there are things that are created only as a secondary idea, just like the inanimate plant and animal were created for the purpose of man. And look what it says in the Mishnayos to the Rambam in the preface. So too, in a tree, there are fruits and branches and leaves, that the leaves are secondary, and on a higher concept it says that the leaves won't fall down. So the meaning to say even the chitzonis will be protected. We can understand this allegorically, like when a king makes a feast for and a party for all his ministers and servants, and spends a lot of money from his treasure houses on this party, that certainly the king doesn't actually desire to spend all the money on its own, but he does want it for the ministers and his servants, that they should eat and drink and get drunk, and to have pleasure from all the foods of the king's table, from the number of different kingly delicacies. Like it says by Achashverosh, they made a feast for all his servants and for ministers and servants. Now certainly, to this king's feast, you'll also find lower people, like slaves and maid servants, aktanim, or the lesser servants and maid servants, that work like demeaning labor behind the grindstones, and that they will eat from the leftovers, that's left over from the meals of the important ministers, or like into the bones that are sent below, that the dogs chew on, that certainly the king did not intend to spend lots of money just for the dogs. But since the king of the hand of the king is so high, is so great, but even the things that, so to speak, are left over, like the crumbs and what's left and what's free for all, it comes out to a tremendous amount. Now, so these crumbs and what's given freely is called a flow that comes in an external way, so to speak, not directly intentionally. Like somebody who throws it over their shoulder. And what's allegorized by all of this is understood to someone who understands. And the supplies above, the inner supernal will, that's in the essence of the infinite light. Davka shines specifically to Israel. Like it says, Havaya will shine his countenance to you. Specifically, it's called the countenance of Arich, the front or the inner concept in Arich. That includes the, so to speak, forehead and the two apples of the cheeks. Like in the Yud Yimul Midos. Even though Mitzcha is not on its own or a part of the Tikkunin. That is through the drawing down of the supernal will, that shines specifically into the Torah mitzvos. That's where you have the inner will and flow. Because the main concept of the wisdom of Torah is drawn from Hashem's inner will, the inner will of the supernal inner will. Because the whole concept of the wisdom of Torah is to be wise, how to draw down the essence of the infinite light, may be blessed, the general concept of the encompassing from the hidden state to a revealed state, but almost into worlds. That is, in what particular way will you arouse to draw down this infinite light? And that is that which was decreed by His wisdom, may be blessed, within the wisdom of Torah, like the 248 positive commandments, that within them specifically you'll have this revelation of the infinite light below, as is known. That the 248 positive commandments are 248 types of flow from the infinite light, to shine lights into vessels, from different vessels, like the Lashon in Megillah, kelim shonim, from the king's party. Like in Tefillin, will draw down the infinite light into the four minds, Chochma, Bina, Chesed, Gvura, Bedalid, Parshios of Chochma, Bina, and Chesed, and Gvura, into the four Parshas of the Tefillin, B'mitzvahs Tzitzis, Giloi, Orein Sof, Bebechinas Lam, and Business Sivos. And in the mitzvah of Tzitzis, you'll draw down the infinite light into the 32 paths, in Sivos Chochma, of wisdom, the makif hatalis that they're drawn from the encompassing concept of the talis. And in the mitzvah of tzedakah, you'll shine the infinite light into kindness and the like. So too in the other mitzvahs, like with the sukkah with the encompassing lights of Imah, because it would and all of this is in accordance with the wisdom of Torah that decreed that you should make the sukkah and the tefillin and the esrog in such a way that in the way to fulfill those mitzvahs specifically, that's how you'll draw down the infinite light, and not in some other way. So so too the wisdom in Torah decreed particular ways of the 365 negative commandments, shein kama v'kama dvarim pratim, that are a number of particulars, shimonim v'stirim lihios giloi or ein sof, that would prevent and hide there being a revelation of the infinite light. V'tzarich lahavir asamonea mikol tzad. We have to prevent this. We have to take away this prevention in all the ways. Vehu ofanim pratim shebimitzvos lo saying that's all the details of the negative commandments. K'molo tilbash shatnez, like the mitzvah not to wear shatnez. Shebezeh yeh istalkus gilo yorein, so that if you wear it, you'd have the removal of the revelation of the infinite light, uchai gavna, and the like, or shalo yumshach, or eloki b'makom sanoi, or that you wouldn't have the divine revelation in a place where there is divine hatred, or that's despised by above. Shenikra to'ava savaya, that's called despised by Hashem. Hilo yagur chara, like because it says that you will not dwell with bad. Hilo yagur chara ksiv u'ba'adam hu gam kein al yedei havdalah, so midvarim asurim v'kshurim b'yedei achitzonim, and so too with man, it's through his dividing himself from things that are forbidden, and tied down to the external, that are not able to be elevated above, because the divine light will not rest in those things, those forbidden things. Like it's written, that I will not give my honor to another. So it's understood that the main concept of wisdom of Torah is only to be wise, to know how there will be divine revelation of the revelation of the infinite light below, through the mitzvahs that are called the 248 limbs of the king, to draw it down, and to take away all preventions, which are the 365 negative commandments, that all of this is to draw down the inner will of the emanator in general. That he should have a dwelling place in this lowest realm, by fulfillment of the mitzvahs, specifically, and in each particular mitzvah, you have a particular light, that comes from this general will. Now, the general inner will, that's the inner will that we're speaking about. That's called the, so to speak, face or countenance of Arich. That about this it says that Hashem should shine His countenance towards you, Israel, Dafka, specifically to Israel, who are fulfilling the mitzvot. That's the inner supernal will, to have the revelation of the infinite light below. And this is what the meaning of our sages said, that it says the word Bereshis, bara, that there's that what was that the creation was for the concept of Reshis. That's for Israel, who are called Reshis, B'shvil Torah shnikra Reshis, and for the Torah that's called the Reshis as well. That's a Beis Reshis. There's two Reshis, two purposes in creation. The creation was for two things, for the two things that are called Reshis, Yisrael and Torah. And the entire world was created to be commanded by this, by man, or for the purpose of Israel and the Torah. And just like you can't have the growth of wheat unless you first preface the stalks and the chaff and so forth. In the straw. In Parshas Vayishlach, and so too is drawn hashbal overrated sono gamkein, is also drawn the flow to those who go against his will, like the kash and tevin and motes, the straw and the chaff, and so forth. Ach al shorish kabbalas shefa lovdi kochavim amru razal, but on this root of receiving this flow to the idol worshippers, our sages said, Kama erach hapayim lefanav chulu, how merciful he is, so that it also comes from arich v'amruzal im le'ovredet sonokach. And our sages said, if those who go against his will get this pirush erach hapayim, that is to say that it comes from his long lengthy countenance, from arich u'kamosh of erach hapayim ugdol chassid, like it says that he's long in countenance and great of kindness. That since he is merciful in an infinite way, truly Alkain, who Gdol Chased, therefore he is great of kindness. We're talking about the Chitzoni Saratzon here, that even the leftovers, that which is considered the crumbs and free who chayus rav atzum, who was tremendous life force and tremendous and awesome life force. Chayus rav atzum chulu. Kamosh b'siddur al pasuk zeh, like it's brought in the siddur on this. Misham mekabli ma'uvdi kochavim u'mazolos, and from this is drawn the flow to those who worship idols and the constellations. And that's what it means. How merciful he is in front of him. And this is like the concept of the straw and the chaff and the umbilical cord. That at first they seem to be the main thing. You don't see the wheat yet, or when the child is growing, that's what covers the child in the womb and so forth. That is because arich is very high. That there you don't have the concept of judgment and confinement at all. Because wisdom is a certain judgment. That wisdom only will stand for that which the wisdom dictates, who should get this flow and so forth. It's not a free-for-all when Chachma decides what is right and what is wrong. And that's why the wisdom of Torah comes from Chachma, or comes out in Chachma. But Arich in will, it's beyond wisdom. That's the end of the worlds of the infinite. In comparison to that level, everything is if it's not. And about that level, it says, if you are righteous, what have you given him? That if you're righteous or you're wrong, to that level it doesn't matter, rather it gives flow to all. And therefore the external also receive from there, even though they are not part of the true intention at all. But their creation is secondary, that the whole entire world was only created in order to be commanded by this, or for the purpose of this. That the main intention in the entirety of creation is the Torah of mitzvos. But nonetheless, because he's great of kindness, is drawn into the secondary, a tremendous flow in life force, even though it's only, so to speak, automatically without forethought alone. Like the allegory brought with the feast of the ministers, that after the flow goes to those who are fitting, that they have the inner will to give to them Then also those who are not fitting will receive from the leftovers automatically, even though it wasn't done intentionally for them at all. So too the external receive a nurturance and life force from the divine light, from the concept of the leftovers and the external of the divine will, the panim halyonim, which is called the back of the neck, so to speak, of the supernal countenance. After you've already drawn down and awakened in the degradative process of the worlds, in order so that you should have the inner flow from the inner supernal will, the sitra de kedusha, to the site of holiness, so it's also drawn down in a secondary way to the others. And this is what it says, that the spider with her hands will grasp, but she is in the palace of the king. That is to say that this deadly spider, because it's so lowly, is not given any place at all or considered at all in the palace of the king. Even though it's grasping with its hands in the palace of the king, it could go on the table and not be noticed at all, as if it's not there. So too the whole in nurturance of the 70 ministers of the idol worshippers, from the what's gathered and falls down from the supernal will, so the supernal pleasure, that falls below, in a concept of the nape of the neck and the back side, like we brought the allegory. It's only compared to a spider in the palace of the king, that doesn't grasp any importance at all, and we don't notice them at all because they're not important. And that's not the purpose of the divine flow in the world for these things. But Abba's Parshas told us of Parshas Amechvavado Dichsiv, Samaim Biyadayim Titafes, and it brings it in Medrash Abba told us. Rashi, Huva b'matnas kahuna, and Rashi explains, as it's brought in the matnas kahuna there on the Medrash Rabbah, b'matnas kahuna sham b'schus hayadayim she'asam matamim la'aviv, that this is the merit of the hands that made nice, tasty foods for his father. I guess we're talking about Esav, that he's compared to this spider, that the flow shouldn't really belong to him, but it says it grasps with its hands, so there's a certain merit in the hands of Esav that it made foods for his father. That through this his father blessed him. That is to say, that this blessing, the blessing of Yitzchak to Esav, is from the concept of Arich, and so forth. But nonetheless, when you have the voice of Yaakov, as Ein Hayadayim Yedei Esav, then the hands of Esav, Ein Hayadayim Yedei Esav Sholtos, those hands don't rule. That is to say, these hands of this spider. That is because this whole flow that the hands grasp of Esav is only in the external, But the inner flow, Zeudav Kal Yidei HaTorah Mitzvos, that's specifically through Torah Mitzvos, after because even though we're talking about Amshacha from Arich, and the Torah comes from wisdom and understanding of Chachma Bina, Shalamata Marichan, which are below Arich, Mikol Makom Behen Val Yadan, Nimshach Mebichinas Pnimius, nonetheless, to them, and Val Yadan, and in their hands is drawn the inner will and desire. And that's how we explain the statement. If those who go against his will get that flow, to those who do his will, how much more so? That it comes from the pnimis of Arich. The Chayfetz, that is to say, if those who go against his will are able to draw down from such a high place, that is from the concept of length of countenance, but only comes down from the external on the back, and like we said, in the allegory of the chaff and the straw, that when the wheat is fully ripened, you don't need any longer this straw or this chaff. When chita is gematria 22, which corresponds with the 22 letters of the Torah. And that's the concept of the 22 letters, is the concept of the voice of Yaakov, like the concept of the chita. So you don't need the chaff, but the what's actually intended. Those who do his will, that the wisdom demands that there should be drawn to them divine will, revelation of the inner will. So that's drawn from the inner supernal will. And therefore it's upon this one many more so. Because you cannot compare the external to the inner. Just like in the back of the neck, the life force is small in comparison to the life force and the active living that's within the face. That you have all these senses of sight and hearing and so forth that are in the front. And now it's also known, because it's known that there are many explanations within this. If Keser is counted amongst the 10 Sfiros, or if it's not counted. And the Arizal decides with that in this that Keser is the this go between, the enabler between the emanator and the emanated. It's this concept that Hashem emanates in order to go from emanator to emanated. So then within the Keser you have these two concepts. The inner concept of Keser is the concept of Atik, which is the, so to speak, lowest part of the emanator, which is the concept of the infinite. And the external concept of the crown of Keser, that's the first level of the emanated, and that's the concept of Arich. So you have the Atik and the Arich are the two parts of the Keser that unite the Maitzel and the Netzalim. And the reason that you have to have this in between, because the infinite may be blessed, is exalted and is higher than the boundary of wisdom and understanding of Chachma Bina, and how much more so from the concept of emotional attributes, so to speak. There you have division to the kindness and strictness. And the infinite may be blessed is simple, and the ultimate of simplicities and is not divided into these different concepts. And therefore, in order to shine the light from him may be blessed into the 10 Spheros, So it has to be through this concept of keser, which is in between them. Like it says on the verse, in the explanation of I am dark but I am beautiful, that keser is, I guess, a concept of darkness in comparison to him, even though it's a bright light into below. Now this concept of how merciful he is to those who are against his will, this which is drawn down to those who go against his will, that's only from the external and a back concept of keser, being that is from the nape of the neck and the back of arich. But from the inner concept of the crown, which is atik lo nimshach lahem shum yunika, they don't get in any nurturance from that level of atik. I guess like it says in smaller b'hayatika. So that it only goes to the Torah mitzvos and Yisrael, that they're the inner will. Ki bechinas atik u bechinas tainug elyon, that the concept of atik is the supernal pleasure, that that's revealed in Torah, that it says I was a plaything for him every day. Hashem's pleasure in creation, and that's the concept of inner will, of the that's called chayfetz, and the concept of pleasure, the true intention of and pleasure above. Yagdil Torah v'yadir, and about this it says Hashem desires with chayfetz in order for his righteousness, for those who are righteous. Therefore he greatens Torah and makes it strong. That the concept of chayfetz for the tzaddikim is within Torah and its strength. V'gam ki isa beitz chaim shebechinas ati kulu panim, and even though it says in Eitz Chaim that atik is all countenance, doesn't have any external there at all, is that it only goes to the right place. That's what's brought in Tanya about how David David called the Torah's miros, which is the external, that he forgot the concept of, because if you saw that they're above the back of the shoulders, because the luchos in the Aharon, or it says about them that they're written from both sides. Like it says in Gemara Yerushalmi of Shkalim, that they didn't have a back and front. That's the concept of atik, which is the luchos, which were all panim. Kitzer, inyan v'yatzinu of Vayilokenu. So we talked about the concept of Vayilokenu to kasab, which are chachma bina, benefesh shem havaya, and how in the soul you have shem havaya. The inyan b'ratzona elyon yishbez b'chinos panim v'achoraim, and how in the supernal will you have both the front and the back. Chayfetz v'ratzon, which are the inner will and the external will, al derech mashal sudos melech, and the allegory from the meal of the king. Mashem isanig mitenu gisarav v'avadav, that he has pleasure in his ministers and servants having pleasure. Mashenim shech derech agav, and which comes from that feast as afterthought. And how the inner desire and pleasure is within Torah mitzvos v'yinikas over ritzono marichan pim b'yadayim titafes, and the nurturance of those who go against his will is from arich, that it grasps with its hands, like the bracha of Esav from Yitzchak is also from arich, from the Achoraim. Because there it's above wisdom, which is judgment, that it should go only to the right place. But nonetheless, even though they're getting nurturance, it's only from the external of the will, which is not the case with the countenance, the front of the countenance. And therefore, if you have the voice of Yaakov, the hands of Esav, the hands of the dangerous animal that kills, are not able to rule. When we talked about the concept of the straw and the chaff and the wheat, and this is also the difference, and the kal v'chomer im lo ovre ritzonu chulu, that if those who go against his will, how much more so those who fulfill his will. And also the concept of keser, that has two concepts in it, atik and arich.